Alright, so thank you so much for being patient while I tried to get everything together, and while TikTok's going down, and while everything's going crazy, and then we're transitioning like 8 different things here at the house. So thank you so much for working with me while we get things moving into this new year, but technically the middle of the school year. So let's take a deep breath. You've made it about halfway. How do you feel? You doing okay? Are you about to go crazy with your homeschooling stuff? Do you feel like you wish you had a better handle on things? Are you trying to shove the kids out the door every day because they do not want to go back to school? Because all of the above. I have kids in different levels and doing different things, and it is all of the above all the time. So I wanted to use this as a jumping off point. I know that I had discussed bringing more of what I do in the curriculum that I make for my girls here to y'all to use. So I'm going to be breaking it down almost like podcast style. If you remember, if y'all listened to my podcast and how I did it there, we're going to be taking a subject and talking about it. So right now, we're going to go through our full moon subjects, and I'm going to focus on, I know I'm late. I'm so sorry. I should have had this up like 4 days ago, but we live and we learn and we keep moving on. So we are going to get started today with our full wolf moon unit study. Before you get up in arms, before you say, no, I can't do it, let me break down exactly what we're working with, okay? So when I'm using the full moon, that's how I'm bringing our magic ritual together as a family. That's how I'm bringing my magic into the homeschool space and the house space for the girls to participate in. Y'all know that I have mentioned before, I don't really follow the wheel of the year like I should. Maybe, I don't know, I don't think I should. I don't follow the liturgical year very well. I throw holidays in when it's good, but my big thing that we celebrate are the equinoxes and the solstices, and then, you know, hooray for gifts and presents because my kids are gifts and presents kids. What do you want me to say? So I try to bring that extra magic, aside from 4 times of the year, in through our moon phases. So like our new moons are actually the time that we're coming in to reflect and get ready for something new. Our full moon, we strip our beds. We make sure that anything for laundry we want done is caught up. Everybody takes a good deep scrub and spa kind of bath and shower. And then we snuggle up real good and we say, you know, may the moon bring me some good dreams. And that's one way that we do it. Another way is that I go the extra mile, as I am wont to do sometimes. And I know there are times where I'm just like, I don't care. But when I prepare ahead of time and I know what it is ahead of time, I'm able to do a little bit more. This year, I have been able to jump forward about 3-4 months in my planning for once. So I'm able to break down the actual sign that the full moon is in and do activities accordingly. So for this full wolf moon, it is in the sign of Cancer. And because of that, we are doing the movie The Wolf Walkers, which is like part of the Irish, Irish folklore trilogy. I think Ghibli's studio put that out. Anyway, if it's really cute. It's like The Secret of the Kells and Song of the Sea are the other 2 movies that are in it. So if you get a chance, I highly suggest you go watch those. They are absolutely adorable, and I really think your kiddos are going to like it. We will also be making cookies this afternoon, and that is going to be both like our kitchen and chemistry lesson, as well as how we're spending time. We're doing that bonding. Everybody's going to make the cookies together. Look, I made cookies. I'm very proud of myself. I'm going to eat the cookies now. I had thought maybe I'm going to do some moon cookies, and no, that's too much. I need to back off. Don't do things and set yourself up for too high of an expectation, and then you get to that day and you struggle to actually meet it. That's actually something that I learned last year, that I knew I wasn't going to be able to handle things like I tried to do last year. So I kept that in mind when I was doing my planning. Oh, I'm sorry about that. I had a whole sneezing fit. I just had to completely cut that out. I had like 6 in a row. Anyway, the second part I do with the moon is that I pull everything into a unit study. And I know I mentioned that, and before you get up in arms about unit study because you have a different way of doing it, just hear me out, okay? We look at what's going on in the moon. So right now I've got a kiddo who can do some biology, who can do some astronomy, who's huge interest a long time ago before she was fully verbal was anything to do with outer space. And like Kids Learning Tube had a huge impact, as well as Kids Picture Show, on her for like the basics and then going above and beyond. This kid knows every name of the moon to Jupiter. They know, we're talking like that level of in-depth, like the asteroid names and like the other galaxy planet like everything. That is her deal. So pulling that into a unit study to make it into something a little bit more bite-sized for her to deep dive into what she would like to do here, I pull it all together from a more scientific approach versus a folklore and traditional approach, because I already do that with the full moon magic that we do together. So there is a program out there, it's called Wilder Child, and it's not bad. I had been on the waiting list forever, so I made my own science-based curriculum like add-on for it last year, and then I finally got into it and realized I'd been teaching the same thing. So I was like, oh well, it kind of sometimes when you have a little extra money and you're homeschooling and you're like, oh, I can finally buy this one thing, and you get it and you're like, oh, I was already doing this. This is just a fancier way. That's what it feels like sometimes with me. So I appreciate what these people put into it, and if you need something that's open and go, definitely look at Wilder Child for like the folklore aspect. Sorry about that, my phone rang. Oops. Anyway, Wilder Child is a beautiful open and go, very simple, very basic folklore aspect of full moons and the cycles there. I found a couple of things that I wasn't too keen on, like that not explaining why the harvest moon is in September sometimes and October sometimes. They just went ahead and labeled it. But if you want something for a science breakdown, please feel free to tell other people about this Patreon. I will have stuff for my patrons, for my witchy mamas to use. And then to sell on Etsy, I'll give you a coupon where you can get it like 99% off, because that's as much as they'll let me do it. So it'll be like a penny or something. It'll be fine. Anyway, so when we do the unit study, right now we are talking about the wolf moon, which means we are talking about wolves and the ecosystem. One of the biggest misconceptions is that wolves are actually the reason why there's a lot of destruction in the ecosystem, and I have brought in a book. It's called The Wolves Came Back. It's when they reintroduced wolves to Yellowstone and everything that happened with that. So we talked about why it's important to have a good cycle, why it's important to have a good balance, and then we will build on that as she gets older. So the foundations are getting laid now for that. She's 7 and she is slowly but surely building those building blocks for why everything is connected and integrated for what I'm doing now. The other thing is I'm doing moon phases. Now this one was fun. We used the Oreos. We made the moon phases with the Oreo cream. I got it for like $2.50 for a little package of that at Aldi, so it wasn't too crazy out of my budget, so that was nice, and it was a really nice little snack for us. And then we also watch Storybots. Like, I pull things from everywhere. I don't just say, okay, X, Y, and Z. Like, I go to YouTube for the free videos. I go to kids shows. We go to the library. We go to books, and we do all kinds of things. I don't just sit there and pray to God they have a worksheet for me to print out. I make it up as I go, and we tell stories and we talk about it. But that's what my kiddo needs. That's how I teach. Take this and make it your own, okay? Because that's the best part about homeschooling, is that you can make it your own to meet yours and your kiddo's needs, okay? The other part that we did, we started talking about why the moon is named different things. Like, for example, in Celtic mythology, this is known as the quiet moon because it is how everything is essentially dead, sleeping, silent, quiet, with the exception of the wolves howling, which is why they call it, you know, the wolf moon. And we'll go on from there as the months go on, just different names to call it, things to consider. Trying to bring more than just one aspect to why we do what we do, and why we call it what we call it is actually a huge part for why I bring the magic into our homeschool. Now, last but not least, you know I'm a big proponent, a big champion for queer, indigenous, BIPOC authors, especially of children's books. And the book recommendation that I'm going to do, I pulled from the shelves of our library, is called The Girl and the Wolf. This is, the author has a note where she said that she was doing a lot of reading of European stories and was like, oh man, I should write one for myself. I should write one with, you know, a different look at it. So I really appreciated how she took everything, and instead of making the wolf a big, bad, and scary like so many stories do, this one made the wolf actually a good symbol, a good animal that helps. So definitely bring this one in, especially if you're talking about why wolves are good, especially for the ecosystem and how we need them to, you know, cohabitate. I would definitely pull this into your reading. It's quick. Like, there's not much here. The drawings are very simple but very beautiful, and it will definitely, you have moments to look around and discuss, like, what are the emotions going on, how are you feeling about this, what would you do if you were the girl, and things like that. So 1000% The Girl and the Wolf. This is by Katherena, Kathерena Vermette, Vermette. I will have this written in the information here down below, and you can look that up. I would say 1000% get this one. It made the story time really fast, but still really engaged, so I was really impressed. Well, thank you so much for all this today. You will see my full moon videos on YouTube, like the day of or after the full moon going forward. This is something special for you guys that I want to put up there so everybody has access to it, but you guys get that early access kind of a thing, because I still don't have enough money I still don't have enough money to invest or anything like that for the big fancy YouTube or the subscribers or anything like that. I don't have the views for that yet either. So enjoy. Take it as you will. Please leave a comment down below for how you guys celebrate the full moon in your house, and how do you bring joy and how do you bring interest if you can't get out in the weather. Like right now, today it is a wind chill of -22. We are not going to go look at the moon outside. We might look at it from our window, but that's about it. So let me know how you integrate it as a family for where you are. Okay, thanks. Be blessed. Bye, y'all.